Hello, everybody. Today we are diving into one of the most pivotal moments in the world history, the Battle of Plassey in 1757. It wasn't just any battle, it marked the beginning of British dominance in India. But there is a twist. This wasn't the British Empire fighting, it was the British East India Company, a private trading company that took on the Nawab of Bengal, one of the wealthiest regions in the world. How did a company defeat an entire country? Let's break it down. Our story begins in the mid-18th century, a time when India was a land of immense wealth and diversity. The Mughal Empire was in decline, and regional rulers like the Nawab of Bengal held significant power. Meanwhile, European trading companies like the British East India Company and the French East India Company had established trading posts along the Indian coastlines. These companies were primarily focused on commerce, cotton, silk, spice and opium. But things were about to take a turn. In 1756, the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Dowlah, came into power. He inherited an unstable situation but was determined to assert his authority. He was frustrated with the British East India Company's growing influence in Bengal. They had fortified their trading posts, especially Fort William in Calcutta, without his permission. Siraj saw this as a threat to his rule. After failed negotiations, he attacked and captured Fort William in June 1756, an event that led to the infamous Black Hole of Calcutta incident, where many British prisoners allegedly died in a cramped cell. This was a significant blow to the British, but they weren't going to take it lying down. Enter Robert Clive, a man who would soon become one of the most famous figures in British imperial history. Clive, who had military experience in India, was sent to retake Calcutta. By January 1757, Clive had recaptured the city. But he didn't stop there. He saw an opportunity not just to avenge the loss of Calcutta, but to take control of Bengal, one of the richest provinces in India. But how could Clive, with just a small force, take on the Nawab's vast army? The answer lies in intrigue and betrayal. Clive entered into secret negotiations with Mir Jafar, one of Siraj-ud-Dowlah's generals. Jafar was unhappy with Siraj's rule and wanted to seize power for himself. Clive promised to make him the Nawab of Bengal if he betrayed Siraj during the upcoming battle. Jafar agreed, and the stage was set for a showdown. The battle took place on the 23rd of June 1757 near the small village of Plassey along the Bhagirathi River. Siraj's army vastly outnumbered Clive's forces, around 50,000 soldiers and 40 cannons, compared to Clive's 3,000 troops. On paper, Siraj should have easily crushed the British East India Company's army, but things didn't go as planned for Nawab. The battle itself was more of a strategic play than a full-scale fight. Mir Jafar, who commanded a large portion of Siraj's army, held his troops back, refusing to engage. This allowed Clive's forces to gain the upper hand. British artillery and disciplined infantry easily overpowered the Nawab's disorganized troops. Within a few hours, Siraj-ud-Dowlah's army was in disarray. Siraj fled that battlefield, but was captured and later executed by Mir Jafar's men. The Battle of Plassey was a turning point, not just for Bengal, but for all of India. In the aftermath, Mir Jafar was installed as the new Nawab, but he was little more than a puppet. The real power rested with the British East India Company. This victory allowed the company to control Bengal's immense resources, including its wealth from agriculture and trade. With Bengal under its control, the company could finance its military campaigns and further expand its influence across India. So how did a private company manage to defeat an entire country? The key lay in company's ability to exploit local divisions, use diplomacy and treachery to its advantage, and deploy disciplined military tactics. The British East India Company was more than just a business. It had its own army, political ambitions, and was backed by the British government. The battle wasn't just about the soldiers fighting on the ground, it was about power, politics, and money. In the years following the Battle of Plassey, the British East India Company continued to consolidate its control over India. Bengal became the economic engine that fueled British expansion, but this victory came at a cost. The company's exploitation of Bengal's resources led to devastating famines and economic hardship for millions of people.